Dun, dun, dun. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your new president of the United States is most likely going to be Donald Trump. And if you listen to what Stan Druckenmiller had to say a week or so ago, he was looking at more unregulated markets and how they were positioned, and very much positioned for a Trump victory. And the markets are often a great indication of future events. And with the crypto market looking in the manner that it has, with mining stocks looking at the manner that they have, and with the industry as a whole looking in the manner that it has, it ultimately was very predictive, I think, of an accommodative president. And I think you do have one. We have said that he's the more bullish route, or the more bullish president for the industry as a whole. And that very much looks to have all came to fruition. I know the official sort of total isn't in, but in regards to those swing states, in regards to the states more broadly, that were really going to swing this election, Pennsylvania, for example, you know, he's very much came out and won. So I think it's very much a done deal. He's certainly coming out and claiming victory. And I think this is great news for the industry at large. And you can see the industry's reaction to this. There was always going to be volatility around this event. And there was always going to be people hedging their bets and perhaps taking money off the table due to uncertainty over the outcomes. But we're going to be doing quite a bit in this video. We will, of course, be looking at the results. We're going to be talking about the broader ramifications for our industry as a result of this all. We know that Gensler, under the prior, potentially now, regime, or most likely now regime, launched a very unrighteous crusade on the cryptocurrency space. And that is very likely to come to an end with a president that is very much going to champion this industry. If what he said on the run-up to this election is anything to go by, there's a great time ahead. And if we look at Congress more broadly, I think there's around about 219 pro-crypto candidates, and that is still counting in the House and the Senate. Of course, as far as donations to political campaigns, I mean, crypto is just unbelievable. It's one of the highest sort of sectors in regards to the amount of money that they've sort of raised and given to politicians. And it's likely because they want this industry to succeed and it to be favoured by whatever political regime is in charge. But I think the one that we now very likely have in the United States is one that is very likely to accommodate this industry. Whether it's Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin is going to become a matter of national security. I think he's going to ultimately really put an emphasis on mining. He likes mining in general, or whatever they do with oil. And I think that's going to continue to the Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin miners look spectacular. In fact, we have a mining stock in the Patreon that is over a 30x from where it's currently at. That's altcoin-like returns from this one mining stock. Link in the description if you want to join that. Ultimately, Bitcoin more broadly, the total market cap was very positioned, whether that's some of the crypto ETPs like Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund. And the market's more broadly positioned for upside, and that's ultimately all was very, I think, symbolic of a Trump victory, certainly the cryptocurrency industries, but it very much looks like he has won. Dow Jones surges 1,000 points as a Trump closes in presidential election win. Live updates. You know, it's in the UK, it's probably, what, 8 o'clock at the moment, 8:30 in the morning. It's currently, I'm in Europe, so we're an hour ahead. But ultimately, it very much looks like Trump has won. And this is great news for the industry as a whole. And it really has broader ramifications. So, obviously, I'm sure we've all seen, and we've played it on these daily market updates, some of the comments that he's made publicly in regards to the industry, in regards to ensuring America's role in Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. It's why we're so bullish on mining stocks. The beautiful thing is Bitcoin miners almost confirmed the price direction of Bitcoin. It's kind of like silver at the moment. Silver miners very much confirmed the big move we're about to have in silver. He's been very sort of bullish on the industry. He was at Bitcoin Nashville, etc., etc. He's also made comments in regards to Gensler, somebody that has been a hindrance to our industry as a whole. He's ultimately going to be out the door, and he's going to be out the door whichever candidate won, whether that was in the form of a promotion or whether that was in the form of him being done away with, which I think is very much going to be the case. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a resignation. Huge ramifications for the industries abroad. Certainly the projects, the foundations, and the projects associated with the foundations that he's gone after. I think Trump, also as a lover of the United States dollar, is very much going to adopt stable coins to propagate it. He's also said he'd vow never to have a CBDC. You'll have CBDCs and things like that in Europe. You won't likely have them in America due to Congress. It's actually quite a good system America's got politically. Ultimately, that means that private participants like Ripple are going to step in and enable the dollar. They're basically the same thing, CBDCs and stable coins. Certainly real USD can be programmed. But this is how an innovation for the dollar is going to come in a kind of further dominating of it globally. And I think Trump's going to get on the back end of that. So as a whole, it's great. Gensler's very, very likely out. This was from Brian Armstrong this morning. Welcome to the new members of America's most pro-crypto Congress ever. 219 plus pro-candidates or pro-crypto candidates and counting have been elected to the House and Senate. Tonight, the crypto voter has spoken decisively across party lines and in a key race across the country. Americans disproportionately care about crypto and want clear rules of the road for digital assets. We look forward to working with the new Congress to deliver it. Thank you to everyone who stood with crypto. We did it. And there was that Stand for Crypto movement, very much came out of Coinbase. Remember, Coinbase still in a battle with the SEC. Also, Immutable X was the one last week. They were also ultimately charged by the SEC. All of this essentially goes away. Well, very likely, I wouldn't say all, but the vast majority very likely goes away. Great news for the industry as a whole, and I actually think that Ripple case is likely going to be intervened in regards to Congress. And I think there's going to be some really bullish news on the back end of that. Let's talk about the charts. So the plan for us in regards to Bitcoin has been the same since 16K, and it's been beautifully followed, even up in regards to us suggesting this was just a pullback in what is a broader trend. And today, Bitcoin actually went on and put in a new high. If we zoom in, you can see this. It's, of course, wicked down quite a bit. You can see what a beautiful retest this was after breaking out of your sort of broadening, descending, pullback channel, broadening wedge. Bitcoin actually today went on and put in a new high. It shows you what the markets think ultimately about this victory. And the reason being is because of what's been spoken about previously. But if we look at the broader time frame, which is where you should all be focusing, unless you're trying to trade, which we don't believe people should do, retail, don't bother trading, don't touch leverage. You'll lose all your money. Take it from me. Until you can prove that you can actually do it, don't even bother trying. Maybe start with paper trading or something like that. But the plan has remained the same on the broader time frame. And that is still the case today. And we spoke about that key level of significance in regards to actually breaking out of this channel. We said this was very much likely a pullback on the back end of uncertainty around the elections that was ultimately going to lead to upside continuation. And there are multiple targets for Bitcoin above us that ultimately confirm the direction of it more broadly. And we spoke about miners. We do have a mining stock in the Patreon, but we've spoke about things like Mara very publicly. This very much just looks kind of IWM-y and the sort of returns we were looking at here. We've spoke about a mining stock I personally own, which of course is TeraWulf. The majority of my community, or a good amount of my community, were looking at this in the $1-2 range. They're up significantly, and this is only going to go higher and march towards that $26 target. You look at something like Riot, some mining stocks look better than others. Something like HUT, but they generally all look to be going in the same direction. HUT 8, quite a nice price target. Even if you look at something like ARX, ETF, this is very much phase one leading to that phase two. And there's lots of smaller cryptos, there's lots of smaller stocks all in what we would look at as phase one, likely heading towards phase two. And when we look at the total market caps, it was a very clear picture to see. This is very much a bull flag that is ultimately going to see the total market cap of the cryptocurrency space, which currently sits at $2.3 trillion, march all the way up to 4.2. And you can see a breakout of this, a retest. We're on that continuation path, and a Trump victory, I think, has very much secured that across the board. So very happy days. We will be re-going over all those falling wedges that we looked at. They're all sort of progressing quite nicely. Lots of your meme coins really doing very well. Even something like SushiSwap, Dogecoin. This was a sensational falling wedge, and actually a target has been met for this. But good news all around, guys, and we just wanted to share all of that with you. You've got to think about the broader ramifications this has for the industry. They're ultimately very positive, in my opinion. You know, the future's always very uncertain, but I think initially, if you understand what this means, Brian Armstrong sort of highlighting the Senate and the kind of positioning of that in relation to crypto, certainly the president's position, you can only but derive quite a positive outcome from it all. So that's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Have a smashing Wednesday, or a wonderful Wednesday, and I'll see you all in the next one.